Hello and welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and this is Richard, and today we are going to work on a couple tarp tents. So here's my bike set up for carrying my tarp and pole. Again, I don't necessarily have to have that pole. I could get a stick out here in the woods, but I brought it along just in case, just for several reasons. One, so I wouldn't have to worry about grabbing a stick, and two, just to see how it would work on the bike when I was riding it, and that works just fine. This here is my tarp. I believe this is a 10 by 14 or a 10, I'm not quite sure what size it is, but it's pretty freaking big. And I have stakes, a mallet, and I also brought out my netting, so that maybe we can put that on the front of one of the tent structures that I'm going to show you how we're going to build out here today. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the potatoes, and I see this one right here is growing quite well. So I'm hoping that by next month, I think by the end of next month, I'm going to come out here and dig this area up and see how many potatoes I gather up out of here. So here is the normal area in which I park my bike. So we're just going to move over here, and there's a clearing inside the woods over here a little bit that I think would make a very nice area to set up these structures, just to kind of get an idea of how they will work. So this area right here is open quite well. This is a nice open area, so I'm going to use this area right here to set these structures up so that we can examine how to make them and check them out real quick. So let's begin by just looking at the gear that I have today. So here in this bag here, I have some tent pegs and some cordage. I have 12 tent pegs and some very cheapy Dollar Tree cordage wrapped up inside this rag with 2 large pressic knots holding them together. As well, I have a Dollar Tree mallet, and inside here is a mosquito net, a large mosquito net, gifted to me by my oldest daughter, Shanae. Thank you very much once again. This is simply just a rolled up tarp. I have taken a piece of cordage, and all I do is, first thing I do is pull that off of the toggle there, and then boom, it slips right off of there, easy peasy. And then it comes off this side, and there it is. Now it's completely off. And the toggles are very simple. All I need to do is pull back on the cordage, release my toggle, and then the cordage comes out. Again, it's just a loop. And we do the same thing on this side here. There we go. Pull that out, and it just comes undone right there. Again, no knots other than the original knot that makes the loop in the cordage. So I'll make sure to keep my toggles. And then we'll just undo this very large tarp, and I'll lay it on the ground, and then I will get right back with you. The first thing I need to do is to clear this area out of these kind of sticks like this. So I'm just going to walk through the area, kind of get rid of some of these bigger sticks, toss them aside, and then I'll get right back with you. Well, that's the best we're going to be able to do for now. A lot of these are roots that are still growing, and those aren't coming up. So we're just going to have to deal with what we've got in the environment that we have, like I always do. So let's grab that tarp and set it out. This thing's just too large. There we go. So we're going to keep this about half. There we go. I think half of this is going to be considerably large, and maybe even larger than what we really need. So we're just going to stick with half of it, and we'll have a complete ground cover under there. That's really big. It's really too big. Anyway, got my stakes, got a dozen of them. So let's start staking this out, and I'll show you where and how we need to do that. Alright, so we're going to go to the third grombit, and I'm going to stake it down, just like that. And I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. Now that we've got that done, what we're going to have to do is find a couple sticks in the woods. So let's go find a few sticks. This right here. Whew, I don't know. It's a little maybe not right, but we'll see about this one, and we'll find one more. Well, they're not perfect, but this is a great example of how not perfect will still work. There we go. Now that we have this, I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to go to the next grombit here, and I'm going to hold my stick up just like such. What I'm going to use is this crappy Dollar Tree cordage, and I'm going to tie that right here and keep it stabilized. There we go. We get it shoved into the ground just enough so it'll stay up right now. I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. Those are kind of up. Let's take the front on each end, and I'm going to pull it out and stake it down. Let's see. it doesn't look like it's going to work. So maybe I'll have to dig a little hole. So if we have problems like we're having, I'll take a stick, put it in the ground, and hammer. Then I'll just wiggle it around a little bit, a little more hammering. A little more wiggling. Just like that, until I make a hole that my regular stick can fit into. And I'll hammer that down. There we go. Yep, there we go. Now that we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to place inside here this piece of wood. Now you can use a rock, you can use a seed, you can use stick, you can use anything that you want. The rounder the better, but this is what I've got available to me right now. So this is going to go on the inside, and I'll get it in there, and it'll be about right here, and then I'll get right back with you. Okay, there it is, right here. Now what I'm going to do is, again, going to make that nice little loop, just like this. Going to wrap the cordage around it a couple times. Run the cordage through this loop. There we go. And now all I got to do is just pull it back here and tie it down. So here it is. Now I'm going to take this stick. There we go, and I'm just going to set that just like that, right there. There we go. Yep, that'll work right there. That'll hold it up, and then I'll just secure it down here. So that's right there, holding the back end. And then I'll just take a stick, we'll put it in the ground right here. Bingo bango. And we'll just tie that onto it. Just like so. Let's give it another couple bangs. There we go. Now we're going to adjust the sides so that we can get the sides a little more taut. Well, it's starting to come into shape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull those sides out a bit and get them a little more taut. And once I do that, I'll get right back with you guys. And then there's the tent. So let's take a look at that real quick. So we begin up here in the front. It's got 1, 2 stakes. I could also stake those in the middle if I wanted to, but I don't really have to right now. I ended up taking that stick right there. It's attached to the garambit, and then I ran a cord down to a stick out here to keep it steady. I also have one in the back, in the middle there, and again on the side here. So we have 3 sticks on the back and 2 tent pegs on the front, and then we have a tent peg back here on this side and a tent peg on this side here. Now all I need to do is crawl up in here. There we go. Now if I want to, which I'm going to grab a couple tent pegs, so because I want to do that. Now I went ahead and tent pegged the floor on both sides. So now I can crawl in here This is massively large. Again, this is a huge tent. And there we are. So now I have the back, which folds down in here, rolls under to make a bed or a floor. So I don't have to worry about water coming in from the back. Up here, we have the tent top, which goes all the way down. There's plenty of space in here for me to lay down flat. So I'll lay down flat here. You can see that I've got a couple feet here, and then when I lay down my head here, there you can, yeah, I could even move considerably more up there. I have plenty of room in here. So this is the first shelter that I wanted to build, and eventually I'm going to build one of these and I'm going to stay out in the woods. I'm not going to do it here, but maybe I'll go to Camp Osage and maybe set up a shelter like this. I just wanted to make sure that I showed it to you guys, and let's get out of here and let me show you one more time. We'll do one more walk around. But before I do that, let me sit up. There we go. So I could adjust that a little bit, but I can completely sit. There we go. Completely sit up. Now my head does kind of touch the top of the tarp, but if I wanted to, I could actually pull this back a little bit, pull this in down there, back a little bit, and raise this up another grombit, and it would be considerably taller, and it still will be large enough for me to stay in here. So let's get out of here real quick and let's run through one more look at this. There we go. And here we are again. So here's the outside of it. Here's the other side. Now one thing I need to do, and I might as well do it, I'm going to pull this, there we go, pull this out here, put this down, stretch that out a little bit, there we go. It was bugging me. So anyway, and there's the inside of it. Plenty of ventilation. And here's the back. Again, a very, very large tarp. I could build one of these with a tarp half of this size, but why go half the size when I can make this large one like this? So here's the first shelter that we're building today. It's fantastic. It'll work. It doesn't take too long for you to build. 3 sticks, a little bit of cordage, a couple tent pegs, and a tarp. You're good to go. Let's move on to the next one. So thank you guys for watching Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and enjoy the outdoors, even if it's just your own backyard.